So, and my friend?
Yeah, I got the return to love frequencies probably about 18 months ago. A friend of mine or someone I know introduced me to Thrity's books and then lent me some frequencies, and I used them on myself a little bit, not so much. I fall into the same category as some people who spoke before. So, when I got these frequencies, I thought, oh, this is great. You do a bit with a few photographs and then slip them in your pocket. And I didn't notice anything too bad, but, when I did read that, that isn't really advisable to have them on your person for too long a period to start with, I had noticed a few, things that I would say would be a bit of detoxing, as it were. What I use them for quite a lot, well, a lot really, is I also do kinesiology, and I know some other people here do it. So if you're doing an energy balance with kinesiology, then very frequently something will come up. So they've got a problem with a person, and I just write the person's name down on a piece of paper, or you get the person to write the other person's name on a piece of paper, and you give them that and the photograph and the frequencies, and they hold that for a minute or two, and their energy changes and the muscle test changes, and it works pretty much every time. Occasionally I've had to do something else as well, but usually it's because there's other things going on. And not only do they balance people's energy so simply and easily, you don't have to really do any work for this to happen. You just identify what it's needed for. So if it's a person or if it's a group of people, you just put it down on a piece of paper, because in this situation you haven't got photographs, so you just put the name down. And something I do a lot of times, and this has never failed, is with a muscle test you just press on like an arm, and that'll hold firm, and you take that piece of paper with a person's name on and you put it in the hand, and they've got a wobble on there or they're weak, and you take it out and they're strong, and you can show it to them. It's so easy, so that they can see that that person's name on a piece of paper is disrupting their energy. And then they just hold the stuff for a couple of minutes or so, say they accept themselves, and then you give them the piece of paper, and then they're strong. And it also works well with affirmations. The other week I was helping my daughter a bit, and she was saying she'd like to eat more healthily, and so you can put a statement like, for her, that wasn't the appropriate statement, but you could say, I love healthy food. Well, she already loved that, but she had a problem with sugar, and we just put down, I can say no to sugar, and she held that for a few minutes with the frequencies, and she told me last night she hadn't been eating sugary things. This is over a week, and I know previously she'd gone quite long periods of time without eating it. She just had a bit of a relapse about a year ago. So I find they're really great tools for this sort of thing, and and they are used a lot. I had another, I suppose I can tell you that there was someone, and one of their daughters seemed to be a real problem, and so the mother done some work out not just with this issue, but with a number of issues, but this was one of them, and she held the frequencies. And then the mother's partner, he had a brief session, but he wasn't very keen on this sort of stuff. And I did place the frequencies on their names, and the mother told me that the daughter, she was 22, like she wasn't a young girl, had actually apologised to the partner, and this was something and to her sisters as well, and it was something that came sort of out of the blue, and then I did have last week. I saw the daughter, and at the end of the session, she got in a strut with her mother, and I gave her the frequencies, and she just calmed down immediately, and it was all gone. So they'll also seem as though they're just the same as when I first had them. They've been rattling around in my pocket with keys and change and all this sort of stuff. As us men, we don't have a bra, you see, so we can't sort of... So it's a bit rough on this. If they're in your pockets
But
and
you
you've got
have
other
pockets.
things in there.
You have pockets which women don't normally have. I never buy trousers without pockets now.
And they balance the energy up just the same. They're great tools. So I'm very pleased to have found them. Thank you.
Thank you. So Anya, my
And
friend.
can I just say, it's so
Yes?
lovely what you said about noticing that they're just as potent now as when, and you can handle, this is the lovely thing about them, they don't change. Heat doesn't affect them, x-rays don't affect them. You can pass them around to any number of people and it won't affect them. So they really do hold their resonance.
Yeah, they're really great as well, because like with some of the energy balancing stuff, you have to get the stuff up in a person's energy before it's released. But with these, you only really have to identify the issue and pinpoint it, and then they just do the work.
Yeah.
And so people don't, necessarily have to go into an emotion that they're struggling with or past memories about things. They're so easy on the people that are using them.
Like you said, the work is kind of done for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.